Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of GeekVerse podcast. I am one of your hosts, the Ghost Rider Taylor Field, and I'm joined by.
I am the other host, Frog Fucker Kirkland Batzer.
Yes, we are here because this is the finale to Creature Commandos. It's been a heck of a journey, but here we are, episode 7. We're going to get into our non-spoilers and spoilers thoughts, but before we do that, a couple of plugs. You can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter. GeekVerse is our Facebook. And be sure to check us out on Patreon, where you can get ad-free, exclusive, early episodes. Big shout-outs to our Patreon producers, Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Jack Grant, Mud, Sam, Superbad Mike, The God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner, and Charlie Randell. Now, there's, as I said, lots of content popping off on there. We have Skeleton Crew, we have Dexter Original Sin, we got just tons of stuff going on there. Newscast galore. We just did a newscast, yours truly, Kirkland and Dylan Muss, and that's broken off into a two-parter, so that second part will be dropping on the feeds next week. There's more to come, lots of possible reviews, maybe a Wolfman, maybe something else. We'll see. It's up for discussion, but without further ado, let's get into this. So, Kirkland, how did you feel about this finale of Creature Commandos?
Yeah, the finale of Creature Commandos. It's crazy. We're already here. This feels like one of the fastest shows of weekly reviews that we've done. Of course, we've done binge models where we release just a full season review in one single episode. But for going week to week, this one really just feels like we just started it. And I think that's due to the fact of how much I've actually enjoyed it. And in terms of a finale, I don't think this was my favorite episode of the season. Probably not even my second favorite episode. But I think this was a really, really solid finale for what the show was. I think they ended off our main I guess quest of this season, but really left things in a certain direction to just allow us to pick up really easily in season 2, and not like I don't know, not like a big jaw drop cliffhanger of a leading into another season, but just enough of like, okay, yeah, we're going to be building upon what we started here in season 1, and expect more of the same. For and like that's not a negative. It's just like they're going to keep it in the same. I don't know. I don't want to say too much without spoiling anything, but I'm just gonna say I really like this season. And yeah, no, I think it's a solid finale. I think the character backstory stuff that we jumped into in this episode was pretty sad, and yeah, I ended up liking it, but also showed some like stakes, I would say, in this episode. Yeah, I really don't think any character is fully safe in this show anymore, especially after this finale. So I think I'll just leave it there. Actually, last thing I'll say is I love the music choices that they have throughout this whole show. The songs that they pull, like copyrighted music. I really like the individual song choices of them. I think it's an awesome show. I recommend it to everyone. It's a really easy watch as well. Like, I think this one was a longer episode compared to the others.
Yeah.
Over 30 minutes for sure. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'd recommend this show as well. I mean, if you're juggling between this and What If, the answer is clear. You got to go Creature Commandos. Unless you're a kid, you shouldn't be watching this if you're a little kid. This is a very inappropriate show, but stick to
Very
What
true.
If on that front. Yeah, but I think that this show it definitely it hits pretty hard. I think it's great, and it's tackling a lot of really sad narratives, especially like you hinted at. This episode was no exclusion to that note. It was very, very sad. There were some things I'm thinking like, man, I just don't want to be seeing this, but it's an engaging story, and I don't know if it's really making me feel more connected to these characters. I'm sure it does for the majority of the viewers because they're diving into the backstory of some of these characters, and it creates that gateway to connect with them. But for me, it doesn't really necessarily. I just kind of pity them more so than I'm connecting with them. But it's cool to learn where they come from within a half an hour period. I think it's pretty good storytelling. This episode, I would agree with you. It's not my number 1, not my number 2, but probably I'd say at least top 5. I'm not sure if it's number 3, but it's in the top 5 of these episodes. So yeah, I think that this ends in a really fun way, but it has elements of being rushed that I didn't really kind of enjoy. I feel like we could have done one more episode, right? Because there's a few things that we didn't really get to see wrapped up properly in this. It just felt way too rushed, just way too like, okay, from point A to point B to point C. Now we're jumping to point F, G, H, and then to Z. Like it was accelerating too much. But that being said, it is what it is. Yeah, there's nothing else I can really highlight without going into spoilers. But yeah, just you said it, like you don't really know who is safe in these shows. If the with the exception of you being Sean Gunn, then you're definitely always safe, I would say. So
Well, your character might die, but the spirit of Sean Gunn will forever live on into another character.
that's right. That's right. So yeah, I think that does it. We can get into some spoilers here now,
Yeah.
if you dare to do so. So
I dare.
go if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it and come back because we're gonna get into it. 3, 2, 1. We're in spoiler territory now.
Spoiler territory. Yes.
So where do you want to start?
Big spoiler warning. Double emphasis. Spoilers. 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 GI Robot Taylor, he's back. We knew he was gonna come back. I was so happy when he showed up all jacked, looking like the Iron Giant.
Yes,
drinking
he
his
did.
motor oil. But it's funny because when Nina got fucking shanked in that river, very brutal death. We'll get there. But when she died, the first thing I thought of, like even before, like, oh, that sucks that we lost that character. First thing I thought of, I'm like, man, we're not getting GI Robot. Like, they're actually just killing these characters off. So, because I thought that, then of course a few minutes later we get to see him sipping his motor oil. I was so pumped. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go for season 2. I'm so hyped. So yeah, no, I know I jumped to the end there, but I was just so excited to see GI Robot.
Yeah, no, very, very happy he's back. And that gave me hope that maybe we'd see Nina as well. But no, Nina is definitely
She is
very
sushi by the time
She
the next
is.
season comes out.
Yeah, she's sushi for sure. Which sucks. I feel like, okay, James Gunn likes to just introduce these characters and then kills them off like he did with the Suicide Squad. And again, here he's killing these characters off. But then some of them he brings back, like Frankenstein, which I don't like. I really was thinking, okay, we're going to be getting a little bit more of a setup here because Frankenstein's finally got to the finale. He's going to see the bride and we're going to see something. But he just pokes his head open through the window. He's like, my bride. And then she just shoots him. And then he's like, Rick Flag. And then she just like executes him.
You didn't
And
like
that's
that?
it. No, I was thinking like,
Oh man.
I didn't find it funny. I just thought like
okay.
it would have been nice to get some context. But no,
Yeah.
she's just like, you stalking like dead bastard, and shoots him in the head.
See, I think that's why I loved it so much, was like there's such a build up of a, he's so like yeah, he's such like he's just building up the moment and romanticizing what this is eventually going to be like, because he's just saying how in love with him she is, to get to the point where like he finally locks eyes with her and then just shoots him dead like right then and there, as if he's just like a fly, because he's been doing this for centuries now, right? So and he's never gonna stop, and I'm totally down for next season, just something similar, maybe a little bit different, but yeah, I was down for how it ended. At least I was chuckling, and I feel like that character I never think is gonna die, just because of what he is. Like, he seems like a pretty immortal being, like Frankenbride, I imagine. Or I guess she's not called that. The Bride.
Frankenbride.
Yeah. So I didn't really think that he was going to be dead like after the season, after she shot him there. But and then with GI Robot, like, of course we assumed he was going to be back because he's a robot that can remake him. But for someone like Nina, there's just nothing really like shown in her skill, power set that she can regenerate that easily. Maybe I'll be surprised, but for how it ended with just showing off the new crew, I really think that she's gone, and I'm okay with that. I feel like out of everyone, she was definitely the one that stood out the most for being maybe like the most innocent character out of all of them. And
She just stood there. Like, the battles would happen and she just stood there
Yeah.
and nothing would come out of it.
yeah,
right?
exactly. I don't need that again for season 2. I'm totally down for I don't know, seeing this like gargoyle looking lady with the wings, or Who else did we get? We got Shark.
Clayface. I
Was
guess I.
Clayface in there?
Oh, no,
I'm
no,
talking
no.
about
He
like the
wasn't there.
room at the
You're
end.
talking about the room. Yeah,
Yeah.
King Shark. Sorry,
King Shark,
that's
yes. We had King Shark, obviously Dr. Phosphorus, the winged lady, whatever her name is, GI Robot, Weasel, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
there was one other one I thought, unless I'm missing two other ones, I can't remember. But
I can't remember.
anyways, I'm down for just the include, especially someone like King Shark. I feel like with the wild crew that we have here, I'm totally down to see that character pop off.
That's how you know Nina's definitely not coming back. There's only room for one sea
Yeah,
creature in
exactly.
this team.
For underwater assassinations, they have King Shark, who
Yeah.
probably would be a lot more effective, anyways.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel about the whole unraveling that Bride did, where she figured out that? Oh my goodness!
At the very end.
Pokolistan, yeah, was basically trying to start a World War III.
Yeah.
It was weird how it counteracted because like Cersei, they had Cersei kind of set up to like
Yeah.
kill her. It was all staged.
Yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of it, but I feel like throughout the whole adventure of the season, that was never like the thing that was gripping me into the show the most. Like I was really in it for the characters and the comedy, I think, around it, as well as the action and violence, more so than like what's gonna happen with this country and are they actually gonna go to World War III? Like I feel like that was definitely not like I wasn't interested in it, but yeah, it just wasn't at the front of my priority list when it comes to how I'm grading the show. And because of how she just like goes in there and like lays out all these things, like, yeah, you were working with this person, I saw the tapes. I was just like, yeah, okay. And then she shoots her. I was like, yeah, okay. It really just like doubles down on how badass the bride is, I guess, to have her shoot her in that moment. And I did like how she was talking about Nina of being like that one innocent person that, like, you know, really maybe the bride was so bitter and like hating the world that like Nina was able to kind of show her a different light or a different perspective on the world. And I'm hoping maybe that's something that'll stick with her beyond this season. Just, I don't know, just the memory of Nina, how innocent she was, had some effect on a character like the bride, who's only really known just bitterness and anger towards everyone. So I did like that dynamic, I guess, and I like the line in that moment. But yeah, it felt like a satisfying end to the season for maybe just the level of plot stakes that were at play. I don't know. I guess you could argue that it is a big stake because we would have gone to World War III with all these robot mechs, but I don't know. It somehow still felt much lower scale, I guess, just because it's Creature Commandos. I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't feel like the threat was necessarily there, and it was never the most engaging thing for me. Like I was there because of the characters and the humor and all that jazz. So when it come to the military and Pokola-san just taking over, yeah, I didn't really get pulled in. I did get pulled into the conspiracy when we found out, okay, Clayface is behind this and there's a little bit of shadiness going on. I thought, okay, there's something here, and I'm digging it. I'm liking it. And I like the team up of Rick Flag Sr. with Frankenstein. That was a lot of fun. And I would have definitely taken a little bit more of that, but just to kind of get it unraveled where, okay, we were made to believe that the princess was in trouble and that, oh, she's actually behind it. Oh, no, she's not. Oh, she actually is again. It was just a little bit back and forth, and I just feel like I was taken advantage of. That they created a problem, they solved it, and then they created the problem again out of the same problem just to pull you in, and I just didn't like that. I thought that it was a little weak sauce is what I'm gonna say. But
yeah, I agree with you. I think when we initially get that Cersei like vision about the World War III, and everyone's just like, okay, we have to assassinate the princess, and then Rick Flag is like, hold on, like we can't just do this. Can we like stop and think for a minute? But obviously they had nothing. You know, they're going behind his back or just over his back, whatever the hell we're doing, to just go assassinate the princess. And on that episode, I was like, really like, I don't know, this just seems like extremely rushed and a very hasty decision. So I think that when we had a hasty decision to just be like, oh, we were wrong. Okay, yeah, no, that's not actually the case. And then it like switched around again. It was just like, I don't know. I think it had less of a oh wow factor for me, because just the initial one was, I don't want to say like unbelievable, but just less less palatable. You know, it wasn't like as easy for me to just swallow that soft serve ice cream
Mm-hmm.
of a of a plot point. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna send us on a quick ad break here, and we'll be right back. And we are back. Uh,
nice.
where do you want to go next?
I have a particular location, which is in Nina's backstory. You know, this was kind of her episode of having the
Mm-hmm.
flashbacks of her origin point. Um, Very sad one, and I will say it's probably like the most, well, a lot of them have been like really sad and innocent. Like Dr. Phosphorus, that was just horrific, and obviously his family was super innocent. All those children that Weasel was with were definitely innocent. So like I feel like they've all had innocence around them in their backstories. This one, like it would definitely wasn't the worst by any means, 'cause definitely children die. It's probably a lot more horrific, and then the family that was just tortured. You know, maybe worse so, but I feel like just the dynamic of Nina and her father in this one. First of all, this show and universe has the worst fucking police officers in the history of police officers. They're just shooting innocent people left, right, and center.
Mm-hmm.
They are so ready to just pull the trigger in any situation. It baffles me, but no, I really felt for her father in this situation where like he lost, you know, his marriage because of the situation, because he just loved his daughter so much, went through all this effort. She ends up just running away by no fault of his own. Like she even says in the letter that like he's been like the perfect father. And then at the end he's like trying to defend his daughter again and just gets shot in the back by the cop. Like it just made no fucking sense on the law enforcement perspective, but I guess that happens sometimes. But yeah, no, I was really sad for Nina and Nina's father. And yeah, Nina just going to the worst schools too, with like the most aggressive bullies. When they're just like, "Oh, frog fucker," it's like throw her to the ground. I'm like, "Oh my
Say
god."
ribbit.
Say ribbit, bitch. I was like, "Holy fuck, this is like, yeah, this is like I'm in Derry or something." But yeah, I digress.
Yeah, that was it's a brutal school. I mean, most situations here, like could nothing happen? Could nothing help this girl? Could nothing assist Nina? Like no one's doing shit all for her. Just brutal. Like, the lacrosse is one thing. I get that it's a competitive sport. You're on the field. You know, blood's running through your veins, and you get kicked down, and they're just talking shit to her. But then when the
I've
two
been called frog fucker on the field before. Like everybody gets called that.
everyone does, yeah. When the boys like push her into the locker and like say ribbit, bitch, like ribbit. Oh, it's just so heartbreaking. Really feel for her, but yeah, she definitely had a very rough go at it. I love the relationship between the father and her. The father just was caring about her and loved her so much and just was trying to really help her. Did testing and turned her into a fish, but wanted to give her that better life and not have to lug around this 30-pound contraption just so because she was born with her lungs outside her body, which is just crazy. And then the mom, just a piece of shit mom, just getting the fuck out of there. God damn.
I want a
But
real daughter.
yeah,
Whatever that is.
exactly. But I mean, you're spot on about the cops. The cops, I was laughing. I knew it was gonna happen because the dad showed up. Like Nina, Nina. I'm thinking, oh god, here we go. So he
Sir,
pushed.
step back. Just pulls out the gun. Like no
Yeah,
taser, no like full Nelson or
like
anything. Just
when
shoot first.
he runs up to hug Nina after he pushes the cop out of the way. He's hugging Nina, and okay, this is the scene. I'm gonna set it up. So
Okay.
behind as the dad's hugging Nina, Nina's on the other side of the dad. Behind Nina is another cop. Left and right of the dad are more cops and civilians and cameramen. And this guy just opens fire, one shot, just clean to the heart, killing the dad. That bullet could have went through and killed Nina. It could have kept going and hit like a cop. Like so many factors, but this guy didn't give a shit. Just
I'm
like the
surprised all the
cops.
cops didn't just light him up from like all
No
directions.
kidding. They should have. I mean, yeah, as we already talked about in the previous episode with Weasel, just the cop taking shots at Weasel when Weasel was holding the girl and could have fucking killed her, which it didn't matter because she died anyways. They chose to like shoot Weasel and drag him out instead of save the girl from under the rubble. It's absolutely fucked. These cops are terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, no, that was a standout from that whole sequence. But I must say, like Nina, I don't know. I guess it's I can sort of understand the reasoning to just leave home, but like I feel like the safest place for her is at her own home. It's not like she was in like a toxic household to run away and go in the sewers and just eat fish, um, like Smeagol or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was kind of unfair for her to do that to the father. I think from my perspective, even though she is bullied and like seen as an outcast, at least you can talk to your family. You can work it out. He's clearly very loving and supportive father, but
Oh,
yeah.
I was feeling sad when she left the note and the dad's just like runs out into the
Oh
rain, just
yeah,
sobbing and just like, oh, this poor guy, like he's been there for you every step of the
yeah.
way, and then you ditch him without saying goodbye. God
I know.
damn.
Yeah, exactly. It's selfish. So, and then she killed her father essentially by that action.
That's true. Yeah,
Really,
she
the
did.
police to blame. The police could have maybe just handcuffed him, detained him, handled the situation differently. But
Mm-hmm.
again, that's not the world we live in. This James
No.
Gunn, how James Gunn sees the police officers in his world.
Yeah, they're all just trigger happy, crazy bastards. God
Yeah.
damn.
Um,
Oh,
Other characters that kind of had a part to play in this, Dr. Phosphorus went through a wall. He's just such a powerful character, and I feel like I like the usage that they have for him, where it's almost like they use him as a gadget and a tool to like get through certain situations more
yeah.
so than just like popping off, going supernova and like burning everyone. Um, and I just love his comedy when he's bouncing around people. Like when they're trying to amp Nina up, they'll be like, "You're the one that has to assassinate the princess. You're the one that has to do this. You're the one that has to do this." And then he's like saying this like, "You can do this, kid." And then she like walks off, and he's like, "Did I sound legit? Like, did I sound real?" Like he just told like he just has these moments of showing like he's very sincere, and then he just like has like one of those skeleton comments because he's just a fucking flaming skeleton at the end of the day with like super bitter. I mean, we saw his backstory. He has reasons to be, but
Yeah.
I love the humor around that particular character. And, he took a good bite from Weasel in this
Oh, he
episode.
did. God.
Both parties definitely took some damage. His arm was just missing like a chunk. And then, of course, Weasel's burnt mouth. But yeah.
That kill that he did too, where he grabbed the secure like the guard and put his hand over the
Oh, yeah.
guard's mouth and just pulled back, and it just was like erasing everything. Like, god damn, that's brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely cool. And yeah, shout outs to Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is now in DC before he's in Marvel.
Yeah, that's right.
Um
And then I guess that was really the only other characters. Like the bride, of course, we already kind of talked about her. Actually, I did like the moment when they were leaving the castle, and there's that one guy in the glasses. He's like, "Oh, there's something we have to like talk about." And she just grabs him like by the throat and just like throws him to the ground. Like she's just, I don't know. I really like the bride. She's hilarious.
mhm.
But yeah, no, I like there wasn't much else from all the other characters in this one. It was mostly what we had already talked about. But I'm looking forward to seeing the new cast, and of course we got GI Robot back, and he's looking even more OP than he already was.
Yeah, yes he is. Uh one last note that I like that Weasel remembered being played with the princess and was trying to like go out there and like play with her, interact, and they were trying to like, just sit down, stop, like
They're gonna
keep
make
him
a
calm.
statue about the weasel because he's so
Yeah,
honorable. Save the princess. That was funny.
yeah, that's right. Uh, do you have anything else you want to add? I can't think of anything else. I feel like we kind of
Rick Flag was alive in this
right.
episode, but like very, very roughed up. I don't know. Maybe I was wanting more from him in this episode. Like I know he's on death's door right now. Just got beaten up, but I feel like the big holdup with that character was all around like this princess stuff, and we just like figured that out really easily at the end and like resolved that whole issue. Like she's dead now, and I feel like the whole Rick Flag situation was tied to that so much. So because we resolved it so quickly, I was surprised that we didn't really get a lot of clarification on what's happening with Rick Flag. But like at the start of next season, is he still going to be all roughed up, or is he just going to be clean and ready to go and just completely forgetting this whole situation? I'm
hmm
hoping it's not that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I would have liked a little bit more. I just feel like it was snuffed out way too just too quickly. And again, when he's just muttering one word, he's like Frankenstein, Rick Flag, and then he says whatever that instructor's name was, and then uh, Waller goes to check out the house and sees Clayface's remains, gunk, whatever, all over the place. And I
Yeah.
figured, out, okay, it's all been a setup. But it would have been cool to get a little bit more instead of him just being
Yeah.
uh, on a bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no. No, I
Is that
don't.
it?
Yeah.
No more stuff. Okay, cool.
More stuff.
Well, what would you overall thoughts and give a
Yeah.
good juicy rating?
Overall juicy rating of season 1. Uh I think this was really, really solid. I think I'm gonna give it 8.75. Not quite a 9, but like still really, really high in my mind. I like that they stuck to, like, they didn't try to overdo this first season, and I just like the overall tone. It was a nice healthy mixture balance of comedy, action, drama, twists. Yeah, I liked all of it, and really, really looking forward to the next season. And I'm with the characters that didn't die. Like I am really stoked with kind of our solid crew with the bride, Dr. Phosphorus, Weasel somehow is like a main member. Doesn't talk a lot, but still, like just everyone around it. And yeah, I'm excited to see more David Harbour Frankenstein. I do like that casting choice. So yeah, no, 8.75, really, really, really solid. Highly recommend the show. I think it's a really easy watch.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I think that the show definitely has some highlights, but there's still some room for improvement here. It's not by any means a perfect show, but it is certainly a good show. And I think if you haven't watched it and you've just been tuning into the reviews, hopefully everything that we've said has kind of swayed you and you go in and give it a whirl. I think the characters were a lot of fun. I like that we got these different stories with them. I could have done with a little bit more connection. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, it would have been nice to have a little bit more pull. But again, that could just be user error, me as a person that's just lacking a means of connecting to them. So uh, take that with a grain of salt. But ultimately, I'm excited for the next season. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. And I think there's a lot of fun to be had still with these characters and with these stories. Hopefully, they don't kill off too many of them too fast in the next season. I'd like that to kind of stretch out a little bit more because I feel like these characters have a little bit more life and longevity in them still. But yeah, that does it. Kirkland, you okay over there? You're
So,
giggling and
sorry,
leaning.
phone call.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I wasn't sure if you're playing with your mic settings again. I'm like, what is he giggling? Like, is he voice changing me now or something? But yeah, that's it, everyone. So thank you for tuning in to Creature Commandos, and we'll see you in the search bar. Have a good one.
Bye.